You're so lucky, YSL, YSL. I'm so fancy, YSL, YSL. You're so lucky, yeah. YSL.
Hello, amigos. How are y'all? I'm so glad that you are joining us today for another Tres Amigas Table Talk. And it is the new year. So, Feliz Año Nuevo. Happy New Year 2025. I have my lovely amigas to my right,
Delene with Yoshi Love.
and to my left,
Didi from Didi Bean.
and we're the Tres Amigas, and we are so happy that you have joined us today because today we are going to be talking about some New Year's resolutions. If we have any, do we even do any? Do we not do any? Do we keep to them? And just thought it would be fun to just chit chat to see if there were any that we have thought to really focus on for 2025, right? Whether it is something personal, whether it's something for your home that you want to do at your home, or whether it's something in luxury, right? Since this is a luxury community, and maybe there is an item that's been on our wish list that we really want to focus on and acquiring, hopefully in 2025. So we just thought we would share that with you and then just chat amongst ourselves because maybe they might share something that might intrigue me to be, something to be on the lookout for 2025.
Anybody want to go first?
Okay.
Okay.
My mean lip too. You're going first.
I guess I'm going to go first. So, I have a New Year's resolution. I have two. Basically, one of them is to eat healthier. That's my goal, is to eat healthy because I want to lose a little bit of my belly fat so I can have lower cholesterol. I still have high cholesterol. So my doctor tells me I have to lose some weight. Belly fat is what he says, to lower my cholesterol. So everyone's different. You can, I guess with me, it just affects me more and sometimes it freaks me out. So I that's my goal. I'm probably going to go back to the gym. I haven't really gone to the gym in a while. So that's my first New Year's resolution. And my second New Year's resolution, to me, it's a big deal because this is something that I've always liked to do, and I'm going to continue doing this throughout 2025, is help people. When I worked at the retirement center, I used to give the people that I worked with rides to the bus station and make sure that they were okay, or just really pay attention to people who need help, like my friend who was living with me. That's just something I feel like that that's my purpose.
Yeah.
So my purpose is to help people, and that's what I want to continue doing. I have an older neighbor. She's 82, and I ask her out for coffee here and there because she doesn't really drive. She doesn't really go anywhere, and I'll pick her up and I'll take her, places
nice,
here and there. And so I've been doing that, and I want to continue doing those things because, what other purpose do we have, but to help people? So that's I want to continue my New Year's resolution there.
Well, Delene, it's because you have a giving heart, as a servant's heart, which, I think that's one of the reasons why that we all kind of click together, is because we all feel the same way, so, but that's sweet that you're really.
And that's one of the reasons why when my youngest daughter worked at the retirement center, and I started working there, and I was only going to work there for maybe 6 months to kind of help her, get used to it, because she was struggling a lot. But I ended up staying there for 3.5 years because I enjoyed talking to the older people so much, and I helped them, and I, try to make sure that they're doing okay. And I would go into the room and check on them, even though if I was a server, but I would go in there and
make sure.
make sure. And I really enjoyed that.
That's nice.
So, but when they passed away, that's what was hard, because over the years when you're there, they, you see many people die, your favorites, everything. They just, they go, and that's what's tough.
It is.
But I enjoyed it, unless there was a couple of really mean guys, but I just tell them,
Should be nice.
I would just tell them, you know what, because I didn't worry about getting fired because, I have my husband and I mainly stay home and I do real estate and stuff like that. But I was just like,
Yeah, this was just, you were there because you didn't have to be there.
Yes,
Yes.
I wanted to be there. It was nice to be there also because, it was a little bit of extra money. But I only worked there 2 days, 4 hours a day, so 8 hours.
That's nice.
Yeah,
not too bad. That's not too bad.
From 3 to 7. Okay, that's what, 3 hours
In the afternoon.
4 hours. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's what I've always wanted to do. Now that you mentioned that, to think back, because like you say, having that servant's heart and just giving back, because I always wanted to, in my mind, one day when I can hopefully retire, is to, especially in places like that, whether it's a nursing home or somewhere where people are ill, when I used to have to get a lot of iron infusions. Because I had really struggled with anemia, and so I would have to go into the oncology center, right, where everybody had cancer and they were there getting their chemo treatments. And I'm blessed because I'm not there for that, right? I'm there for an iron infusion, but just to see the volunteers that would come in and give of their time, because they would come and give us a snack, like they would give us crackers, they would pass out crackers or juice and just check on everybody, give us a blanket, give us a pillow, and just having them around to just be a little angel, right? Coming around and helping everybody that's there. And so when I would see them do that, I was like, okay, one day, God willing, like when I can retire, I can just, volunteer a few hours just to give back, because it was always nice to see that when I was having to go into the clinics, because I'd have to go in like sometimes 4 times a year for a while there.
To do that.
So it was nice to see when people give back to the.
Well, what's funny is last winter when I saw this lady laying at the convenience store in the corner, it was cold. And I remember I had jackets in my car and I had socks and I was trying to cover her and I was putting socks on her, and she's like, you bitch, get away from me. And I was like, what did you say? Did you want some hot cocoa or something? I wasn't really sure that she was
cussing you out.
Yeah, she was cussing me out, but very low, like very low. And I was like, what did you say? Did you want some hot chocolate? I can get you hot chocolate coffee. Do you want some food? I can go in there and get you. She was telling me to effing get away from her and stuff. So I was like, oh boy. Okay, well, I'll let you go. Do you want my jacket? Do you want my jacket or not?
And also too, I guess, because your innate wanting to help, you're also crossing boundaries for them.
Because I was touching her.
Exactly. And you're in her space and you weren't asking, permission and things like that, So
her toes were exposed and it was cold.
Yeah, I know. And then she was asleep. You weren't wanting to disturb her. But
I was probably being a biatch and didn't even know it.
I wasn't exactly saying that, but yeah. No, you weren't. You just didn't.
You were giving.
You were giving, but even when we give, there's still boundaries and rules that you have to follow.
Some people are not very open to.
Well, I was trying to wake her up.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. It didn't work out. She was so mean. I was like, oh, okay, bye. I gotta go. I think I know what she said, but I'm not really 100% sure. She cursed me out.
So that's good, because you're doing something like personally for yourself. You're wanting to eat healthier, and then you're doing something out giving. You want to use more of your servant's heart and do that. So
not to certain people. I know that sounds crazy to say to certain people, because there's people on the side of the road begging for things, but I don't trust everyone.
Right.
Because I feel like
I don't either.
That some of them are lying, because there's times where I've handed them food and they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, never going to do that.
And I used to, you don't want to think that they are, but I've actually witnessed it. And after a friend of mine told me, like, no. And I was like, they can't be doing, you know what I mean?
They do drugs and alcohol.
Right. And so, but I watched somebody actually get in their car. Like, you hear stories where, like, no, they have their car.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, until you witness it, you're like, okay, no. So if I see somebody on the corner, right, that's begging, okay, I just say a prayer for them.
Yeah.
Lord, if they are truly in need of something, for truly like food or whatever, then somebody will bless them with it. But Because after I witnessed it myself,
it was hard for you to do that.
Yeah, because it's different to see poor people here versus people who live in the poor countries.
Yeah.
You know, like I lived in Guam where there was some poor people and it's not the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same as here. So you don't really trust, you know, everyone. And if they do need something, they can go downtown to the shelter.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're not at the shelter is because they don't accept anybody that does drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's why they're more
staying on the street and
staying on the street towards
Street peddler,
you know.
And that's why when we're trying to do our gifting or our giving, is that it's important to do our research. It's important to say, like, okay, where do you want to go? And I had the same problem you did about giving the money, mainly because I was like giving all of our money. My husband was like, you can't. I had quit my job recently during that time. This was like 2003 or something, and so I was no longer working. I was staying home, and he said, we don't have that kind of extra money for you, you know, just to give a 20 or something, you know. And so I had talked to our priest. He was one of my favorite priest, Father Eddie. God bless you. He passed. Do you know Father Eddie?
Yes, I served on retreat with him.
Yes,
beautiful.
He is a beautiful, beautiful soul, and he's an angel now. He's up in heaven, and so I did actual spiritual direction guidance with him, and he helped me when I was working down that path and stuff. And what he said was that when you're giving of the money, it is not to you to decide if it's okay or not okay for them to give. So you have to stop that. I mean, what they're going to do with the money. So you stop right there. You have to decide, are you being called to give this money or not? And it's okay if you're not being called. Because I told him, I said, I feel conflicted because I felt called, but I also felt called to be there for my family because our situations had changed. So he said, then you do something differently when it comes to the poor, the helpless, the homeless, that kind of thing. And so then I looked into directly doing like, there's different programs around the world. There's like Sam's Shelter. There's like the Boys and Girls Club. There's like all different kinds of things like that. So I looked into those things, and that's where how we give when we're those who are homeless. And then we actually took into homeless people, children, you know, teenagers, you know, so that also was there too. So that kind of helps too when you're not sure, you know, because you never know. You don't want to be taken. You don't want to not believe them. But then when you witness things or you see things, it's difficult. So you just kind of go within yourself and go in with your whatever your higher power is, which, you know, for me, it's God. You know, go to and ask, you know, help me. What am I called to do? What are you calling me and asking me to do? And try to do it that way so that you don't. Because then you don't want to go back on yourself and feel bad about yourself.
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, off of my pedestal, my preaching pedestal. Sorry, but I'll do my resolutions that I don't do resolutions. My resolutions is I don't do resolutions. No, I actually changed several years ago, also with the help of Father Eddie. For some reason, the word resolutions would gate me from doing anything, from completing anything, because then it was like these things were every year, they just weren't happening. So he said, well, what about goals? He goes, because goals and resolutions are similar. You know, you're playing semantics. Is that the word? Semantics a little bit. However, goals there's like a stop and an end kind of thing. He said, so your goal may be something that could be 2 weeks. You could complete it in 2 weeks, or a goal could be long term, or it could be in the 12 months, you know, however. So when I started doing that, I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. So I do a combination between the goals, doing a goal, and I do a combination between that and what I found in the planner world, I don't know if y'all, I know Delene, you said you do the planner world a little bit too, is they have the one word. You do the one word a year.
Mhm.
You select one word a year. And my last word for 2023 actually was completion, because there was a lot of things that I had started, but that I didn't finish. Okay. And so that's supposed to help you. So everything kind of guides to that. And it can be anything, you know, that you do. And that was, I thought about it, prayed about it, and did that. So then my one word helped me with my goals, you know, so completion. And so one of the things, and that's how like that helped in 2023 with doing YouTube, was that it was like, okay, I want to at least complete and get to a certain amount, you know, a certain amount. So that was that. 2024, I didn't do a word for some reason. 2024, I'm not sure why I didn't do a word. It just kind of escaped me. So in 2025, I still haven't picked a word, but I am going to work on, and I've started talking about this in 2024, is that I want to curate my handbag collection, because I went a little crazy. Went a little crazy, but I want to curate it now that I know myself more, especially physically, what I can and cannot do. I want to see what want to divide things to, like, what is a collection bag, what is a daily bag, use a bag, what's travel, that kind of thing, and then find the courage to emotionally detach so that I can either sell them, pass them on, give them away, what kind of things. And which is kind of funny is that it's sometimes easier to give them away. Like, because people appreciate it. It's like giving you that bag. I mean, I love that bag, that Dooney bag, last year that I came across it. I loved it. It was cute. I'd never seen it. But it, like, the servant's heart, it brought me so much joy, saying, oh, this, here, please take it.
It's a gift of love.
Sweet. Yes.
It was so thoughtful.
Yes. So
very thoughtful.
I'll be curating how I'm going to do it. I have no idea.
Well, I can help you with their hydrangea drawstring bag.
That one is not going anywhere. Sorry.
That's the one that I'll take. So that will not be an issue for you.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Remember that one.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
Never. Your turn, Miss Host.
Okay. Well, of course, for I like how you said it as far as like goals, because I always, same thing with Lent. You always say you're going to give up something and you never really do. And when I was a catechist, I would always tell the kids, because they're like, people give up sodas, give up candy, give up this. And I would always tell them, I know I fail at giving up something. I'm a sodaholic. I know I am not going to be able to give up sodas. So I would always tell them, put your intention out there to do something.
Yes.
Whether it's reading a little scripture like every day, right? So it's like a goal, and not so much as you giving up something.
Yeah.
And so that's how I also kind of look into like just resolution is like, okay, what do I want to focus on really for the new year? So do I want to focus, of course, on getting 1,000 subscribers? Yes. Do I want to focus on losing weight? Yes. Eating healthier, because of at our age, right? It's the midsection fat. It's that belly fat because we're over 50. And it's like that struggle of having to get over that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love that my amiga Delene here was, she brought little packs of like those little prime drink.
Oh,
mix
yes.
packs. And those have been really, really good. And I also got
They'll help with your sweet cravings.
Yes. And because they do have, some are sweeter than others, I've found. But the other one was Salud. And that was also by a Hispanic founded company, and they have like Jamaica, they have sandia, strawberry sandia, or watermelon, whatever. And those are good. But what I liked about those was that they actually had organic, caffeine. So they have it's natural caffeine because of what they make in there, right? And so for me, I need that a little bit of extra, a little pepper, whatever, because I'm not a coffee drinker. I love the smell of it, but I can't acquire the taste for it. I drank a lot as a kid. With my grandmother, and then as I got older, older, I was like, I didn't like the smell and the breath.
Oh,
When
yeah.
the
Especially
breath,
when people have like gingivitis or something, or they're a smoker,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they're a
drinking
drinker,
coffee.
and it turned me off. And so I was like, no. So, but as a kid, I drank a lot. So, but yeah. So of course, so those would be my main things. Of course, one. Oh, thank you.
Like, it's so pretty.
Thank you. This is one I got in Rockport. I went out there. It's Mariana. It's by Mariana. So the main thing really is to I've been slowly starting to also really identify which handbags I do not use, especially the higher price luxury bags, to eventually sell them off as well, because they're there. I bought them, but I haven't gravitated to them. So it would be, again, limiting, selling those so I can then downsize my collection, because I don't like to have over like 52, right? I like to keep the number low. But for gold, especially
50.
like for our house,
50, not 52.
50 and 52. But especially for me, for goal for our house, is I really wanted to then focus on building outside, extending out like patio, landscaping,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you're gonna do that?
doing that in the back. Yeah, for my husband.
Awesome.
So this way he has like his space, and we
cool.
can go out and entertain. And
Yeah.
I feel like I can entertain a little bit, hold more people, like especially in the summer, something we
Yes.
can go out and
Yeah.
have it covered. So, and it's been something that we've been putting off, because I told him, I was like, once you get 100%, we're going to expand, because then I don't have to worry about taxes, right? I don't have to worry about taxes. So, but yeah, so that's like the main thing that I wanted to do, because it's like, we buy money, we splurge on a lot of luxury items, but there's just, I feel like my money is better spent like on the home, and just
Yeah.
having a home that's more welcoming, and just being able to like host and
Mhm.
stuff. And I prefer, that it's nice to have and splurge on certain things, but especially whether you are wanting something within like the luxury, like a handbag or whatever it is that you like, is really, if that's something that you have as a goal, like let's say it is a Birkin, or it's whatever brand, like a Gucci handbag, and really just realizing, okay, I want that, and then I need to not buy little things,
Right.
because those things that I've
Add
been
up.
buying, they add up, or
Yeah.
that money could have been put to
Yeah.
that item, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's anything, whatever it's anything.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I want to be more mindful of going in, now that we're in 2025, is just being more mindful of not getting all these other things, and just like holding out and making sure that it's allocated to something I really, really want, like if it's a big ticket item, and really focusing on the house and expanding out, because we've put it off for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So that's my main goal.
When each time that y'all have said 2025, is just like my mind blows.
I know.
2025. I'm just
It
like,
just
you
lets
know.
me know how old I am.
You're
it's
not
like
old. I'm not old, so you're not old.
older.
Yeah.
Older.
Well, and there was like the first things that you were saying is like reasons why I didn't use resolutions, because it was like, oh, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's just like it never happened. And then when you didn't do it, you felt like crap,
Yes,
when you didn't
yes.
do it, and so I kind of like I felt like not wanting to do that anymore, feeling that way.
Yeah.
And the same thing is when I went to the theology school that I was going back to Lent, and that Lent will be coming up here pretty soon. Then we would that was the same thing. Is that I had told her, because I had gone a few years where I wasn't giving anything up for Lent. I wasn't doing that sacrifice, and my instructor, she said you don't have to do that. She says you can do something to spiritually grow,
Feed yourself.
And she said, and if it's something that is difficult, then you can do that. So I was like, okay, mornings have always been difficult. I'm not a morning person at all, even before my illness. It's like, if you call me before 10 o'clock in the morning, you're good luck that if I'm going to say anything nice to you, or if I'm going to remember. So that at that time, I decided for that Lent period was that I was going to get up early in the morning and go to the St. Mary's Chapel and go there and with the nuns and do their morning prayer. And so that was for that entire, well, it was going to be once a week for that entire time. So that was hard because
How long is
I
Lent?
had to work 40 days.
40 days.
So I couldn't do, because I was working there and I was going to school and I had kids, so I couldn't do every day, but once a week. But still, once a week was like, oh my gosh, because it was the one day that I could have slept in. And I tell you, it was the hardest thing that I ever did, but the most satisfying that I did, you know. And it was.
That's what's worth it. It makes it feel worth it. Because one time I was, because I'm used to buying shopping, no matter what it is, right? You're just, I'm always about the deal. And so I remember one time for Lent, because it's like, okay, I'm not going to always focus on giving up. It's me doing something extra, whether it was like praying a rosary or praying a Bible scripture, something.
Right.
So you know how we have the little those little books of the daily scriptures
of
I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, that little book. And so I said, I am not going to shop. So for one Lenten season, I was like, I am not going to shop. And the only groceries, like gas, groceries, like those necessities. But for me to be
no luxury,
no shopping at Target, no shopping, nothing that I didn't need, unless it was like, food or, a true necessity. Because I was like, I'm not going to shop. So in order for me to survive that, right, I was like, I had to feed myself to focus on something else so that I wouldn't be wanting to scroll the internet or whatever shop. And so I took that little daily book. And so, of course, you have little scripture, it has your little reading, and then it would give you 2 scripture verses. And so then I would look up those scripture verses. And so every day I was faithful to do that. And that helped me to change my focus to do that versus, wanting to like browse and then shop. And stuff
I'll have to do a lot of that before, right before my husband retires, I'd be like, okay, I need something, because I have to try to get used to not shopping, because that's all I do. I feel like I'm always on the internet looking to see what the next thing I want to buy.
And it's hard too, because especially being the women, I don't want, I don't like to say like these women roles, those are men roles or whatever, but a lot of times, like in our family or whatever, it would fall to you to do the shopping. Now now that I've been sick, it's been like a little bit different. The husband does, if there has to be physical shopping, he does the physical shopping. However, I still have to go on, make a list and then see, okay, is it something that I can order, or is it something that is it cheaper for him to go pick up at the store or what have you? So you're doing that, and you're doing something that is shopping, that is you have to do, but yet it's very easy to fall into like, what is Coach doing?
Yeah.
What is Dooney doing? Ooh, LV's got a new job coming, and then you find yourself
in that rabbit hole again.
So it's really, really hard. So I completely understand that. So this year, I think that for me, with the curating my handbag collection, I think it's going to be a double thing. It'll be good for me. It'll be good for the channel as well too, but it's also going to be good for the home, because there's going to be more space. More space in the home too, that I can.
Because we accumulate a lot of stuff, and it's like we filled up this big house like quickly, right? And it's like, things, closets are full, garage is full, and we don't need all of this, right? Like we don't need all this stuff. Whatever's been in the closet.
A mean garage sale.
And every time I have a garage sale, I make over $1,000.
Wow.
Every single time. But it's a matter of
a lot of work.
But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and David dreads it. Dreads it, because I set up shop. I literally set up shop in the garage. That's like a boutique.
That's how
the boutique.
That's how I used to. He has to do. That's what I used to do, and I used to make mega much too. I mean, we weren't as our neighborhood is not as affluent as this, but I would make $500. It wouldn't be less than $500. And this is back in the days, 10, 20 years ago. And my father-in-law, he would always say, "It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time." And when he says, "How much did you make?" Because he would say, "You're selling that for $2. You're selling that." I said, "It's the whole thing at the end of the day, And and so how much did you make? I said it was like, it was only like $5.10. He goes, like $5.10. I said, no, like $500,
Mhm.
$510.
He's like, what?
And he was like, what? He goes, for selling that like for $5? And I said, yeah.
Mhm.
He said, ooh, can I have one?
Because it all adds, and especially
Yeah.
in the area where you're at, because especially with my childhood home, when I would have my garage sales there, and my renter, I'd tell her, I'm like, girl, if you have a garage sale, you're gonna make a killing.
Yeah.
Because it was right off of the highway. I would sell bras. The bras would sell like hotcakes. It was funny because people in that area, that's
Yeah.
what they wanted, right? And they were like good Victoria's Secret bras or whatever.
Yeah.
But they would sell. So yeah. But it's just a matter of just like, you know,
And you're
getting everything set up. No, not that. Not that. Not that. But yeah, sometimes it's just at the end of the day, it's what you end up saying. You can use that for something else or whatever, you know.
Now, this has to do with the subjects of resolution of goals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do husband-wife goals? Because like we do goals, which I guess it's for you. I guess it could be the working on the back of the patio. But we do goals, and we started that like when we were trying to do retire. We do like, okay, financial goals. What are we working on this year financially? And then, but we usually don't start that till March, or it's like, what is our project for the year that we want to do, that we want, you know, like, and which unfortunately because of illness and all that kind of stuff, our husband wife goal hasn't worked as far as that, which was trying to get stairs to our swimming pool so I can get in and out. But then there's also like, there's that working on that together and deciding on that together. But then there's like relationship goals that we do, that we say, okay, you know what did we learn about each other this year, or what happened, kind of go over stuff like that. And sometimes a lot of that organically happens during our last vacation of the year that we do.
Last quarter.
Yeah, it kind of that's kind of when we did it. So we did it when we were on our cruise.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I've never done that, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like
I've
that
never done
idea
that either.
because it's like you go about the year and you're like, things come up and you're like, okay, we need to do this, we need to get that or whatever, and especially like to really focus on something and to reflect back like on each other, right? And the relationship and stuff. So that's a really, really good idea to do.
And I find that it's better that when we do it on our last vacation of the year, because like you said, it's like usually the last quarter, but it always feels safer than doing it when you're in the home, or where you can be interrupted, or that you're already tense or whatever. Because when you're on vacation, you're in that vacation mode.
Yes.
And so you can say something to somebody, to your spouse, and it doesn't like necessarily hurt their feelings, because they're not in that mode. They're and for some reason their brain is more, and my brain too, not just them too. I'm more like, okay, I can see that. I can see where I upset you on that one. I didn't realize that, and it's never like a strict agenda. It's just something that kind of organically happens, and then now we'll start the conversation, and then okay, this is where the conversation's going. Whether he starts it or I start it.
And that's really interesting, because especially to talk about things, to have those goals set, and like if you're starting the new year, to say, okay, these are a couple goals, or these are goals that we want for the house, these are goals that we want for finances, right? Things like that. I think that's a really excellent idea, because we just go about, and because of the fact that like we don't have grandkids, we don't have kids, and it's kind of spur of the moment and stuff like that, because it's like, as we need things, we just get them, where things are not having to be so thought out, right? But but that communication piece is very, very important, because like, and the reason why I want to expand the back is because I want to expand and have room, and that's David's dream, was to have a little chimenea. But since we moved in, he was like, I want a little shed. I want to store my stuff so I can get stuff out of the garage or whatever. But that's your thing. Like, if you want a shed, you research that. That's like, if I want a bag, I'm going to research the hell out of that bag, because I know it's going to cost. Where can I buy it? Okay, I'm going to wait till Fashion Fall or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so the other day he was like, well, I keep telling you I want a shed. And I was like, you have money in the bank. Why are you waiting on me? I was like, why are you waiting on me? I don't ask you permission to
Yeah.
I don't ask you for permission to buy a bag because I'm buying it. That's my money. I'm not asking you to pay for it. I'm not asking you to contribute to it. So if that's your thing, then you should have already have researched it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whatever you want, that's your thing. That's not my thing. So get it. If you've got money in the bank, then get it. But it makes sense to have that at the very beginning. What do you want to focus on? Having
Yeah.
that communication. Same thing like the other day, he was like, okay, well, I need to get a fan because it's cold in the winter. And I was like, you have money? Same thing. You have money in the bank. Why are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
So you yes. Like, why are you waiting for me?
He
Buy
wants you
it.
to go get
Yeah. And don't expect me to research it.
Actually, well, the research thing is probably one thing too, but actually what I have found with my husband and I, when it comes to that part,
Mhm.
is the fact that he feels like that's more home based, and that it's more something that you've got to discuss, because it was also like we do something a little bit each year in the backyard, and he needed fans. Well, we needed fans for the on our patio area, because our house is like enclosed, and so right where our patio, unfortunately, there's no wind, and we just take fans out or whatever. So when I said, well, yeah, there's fans, and like I bought fans, or tell him, buy a fan. So but until we had the discussion, he's like, no, I want a fan, like a ceiling fan, but for outside that can get rained on, and that we can have, then I just have to plug it in or whatever, but it's there, and all I have to do is plug it in, not drag it out. And I was like, that never dawned on me until we had those discussions, and so the same, so maybe with his little cuartito is a little shed. Is a shed.
That's what we call it.
The shed. Is a shed. Is that maybe he has an elaborate thing in his head and he doesn't know how to complete that. Because that was my husband. He's like, I want a fan. I've kind of seen them, but I don't know how to do that. So
and some have misters.
Yes.
And some fans have misters and stuff that you can install. And it's like, and it's not until you actually start to go out there, to look at them, that you're like, okay, I have this option. I have this option. I have this option. Right? Yes.
Yeah. And it may not feel fun for you, but it may be something for him to say for you to share in, because I think I have heard him say names of handbags that, that I'm going,
and he knows them.
See, so
because he pays attention.
Yes,
he knows. He's like, okay, that's an Ambrez. He'll be like spotting bags out in the wild all the time, and that's why he's like, I would never known what any of these are had I not like met you, and you, because this is your thing, right? And so, but he pays attention to all of that, and he stays with them, and he pays attention to it, and so, but.
He pays attention for you.
Right.
And that's
right. And so that might be what's needed to get him started, is to say, hey, let's make a game plan, and then you tell me where you need me to help you, but then the rest is really up to you. Because that's what we ended up did, is he told me what he needed, a game plan, and then we figured out what it was that I needed to do for him that he didn't know, and like now he knows how to go on Amazon and check things out, and he'll bite the stuff, and like I was going out the door today and he goes, oh, those aren't mine, and I said, really? He goes, I know how to use Amazon now.
And he is not an online person. He does not like deal with anything or research, like nothing. So that's why it's like, don't expect me to do it, because I don't know what you want. You haven't had that conversation with me to really tell me, like really not even specific size or what, right? And so, because it's like, I can't pick it for you because I don't want to pick the wrong thing. And it's just having that type of conversation.
And so I'll, also going back to the thing is that a man-woman thing, but that's also that introvert extrovert thing that you're doing of like, how do I get this done? But
I think we have some really good resolutions that we have for ourselves, health-wise, especially talking like financial goals or just relationship goals. I think that's a fabulous idea, and really looking at more like, not so much that you have to really give up something, but just something that we want to do and incorporate. Set that intention, right? Exactly. Set that intention to do better for ourselves.
And if you have to change the name and it not be a resolution, it's a goal or some a project, then do that. Because and don't worry about it, because that's what I have to do
to make it feel better. Feel better about it.
For your brain, it's so your brain, to trick your brain. You have to do that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Well, thank you, amigas, for sharing everything with me. Let us know how you feel about resolutions, if you have one for yourself for 2025 that you would love to share with us in the comments. And also, please give us some ideas in the comment section as well. If there's some topics that you would like for us to cover within this year, we would love to hear about it. I know we have had some suggestions left before, but we would love to hear more from all of you. And we thank you for this time, and we hope you all have a wonderful, happy new year. So, feliz año nuevo, happy 2025.
Oh my goodness, yes, 2025,
Crazy.
Yes. So have a fabulous day, and we hope to catch you back here for the next Tres Amigas Table Talk, amigos. Until next time, adios. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye. Bye.